Well, good morning, everyone. It's certainly great to be here today for another wonderful announcement as we get ever closer to the 2023 Canada Games. I do want to thank you for joining us today. My name is James Elwood. I'm the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure of the province of Prince Edward Island, and I'm pleased also to be joined virtually by our local Member of Parliament, Mr. Sean Casey, the Chairman of the Board for the Bell Alliance Centre, Sean Murphy, and co-chair of the board for the 2023 Canada Games, Mr. Brian McFeely. Today we're coming together to announce funding for sports infrastructure here in PEI. So without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to MP Casey, who is speaking to us today on behalf of the Minister of Infrastructure for Canada, the Honourable Catherine McKenna. Sean?
Thank you very much, Minister, and it's nice to be here with you. I enjoy our time together. We generally get to deliver good news for Prince Edward Islanders and for our economy, and today is no exception. I also want to acknowledge the Honourable Sean Murphy and Brian McFeely here with us today. And I also want to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people, Abequit. They are the past, present, and future caretakers of these lands. Il me fait grand plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui et de représenter l'honorable Catherine McKenna, la ministre d'Infrastructure et des Communautés du Canada, pour une annonce ici qui est très, très important pour nos familles, pour notre communauté et aussi pour les Jeux Canada qui s'en viennent. Very pleased to be here with all of you today on behalf of the Honourable Catherine McKenna, the Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, along with Minister Aylward and Sean Murphy and Mr. McFeely. From coast to coast, Canadians have been dealing with the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic for nearly a year. We've been learning to deal with this new world and the new realities. For people across the country, times have been hard. But as the situation continues to evolve, all orders of government across Canada are working together to reduce the impact of the pandemic, to protect lives, to support communities, and to create jobs. And that is the very reason that we're here today. We need to build ahead and up, and we need to do it in a way that makes our community stronger and more resilient in the future. And that's why I'm so pleased to announce federal support for upgrades to the Bell Alliance Centre here in Charlottetown ahead of the 2023 Canada Winter Games. These upgrades will not only provide the 2023 Canada Winter Games with access to a modern and well-equipped facility, but it will ensure that Islanders deliver an outstanding event in 2023, making Prince Edward Island a top destination for sporting events for years to come. Today, the Government of Canada is investing $360,000 in this project that will benefit both athletes and spectators. Upgrades to the center include enhancements to the arena's lighting and sound systems, replacement of the two ice surfaces safety net and glass, and repairs to the fixed spectator seating. Other important upgrades include improvements to the center's accessibility, renovations to the washrooms, change rooms, and the athlete warm-up area. We understand that partnerships are key to supporting communities across Canada, and that's why our government is working closely with provinces, municipalities, and stakeholders to get projects built quickly. Today's announcement is another great example of how working with our partners across the country can make a positive difference in the lives of so many. Through our historic Investing in Canada plan, we're delivering on our promise to build sustainable and resilient communities. This plan supports thousands of projects across the country that will improve essential infrastructure in many communities. Here in PEI, the Government of Canada has invested more than $381 million in 141 projects through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. These projects are supporting and improving the communities where you live, work, and raise your families. Though we still find ourselves in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's essential that we build ahead to create jobs and to stabilize the economy. We build ahead so that Canada can strongly recover in the months ahead, and so that communities can come out of this pandemic stronger than ever. Together, we will improve the livelihood of all Canadians. The Bell Alliance Centre really is a key cog in the lives of so many in Charlottetown and right across Prince Edward Island. I'm looking at Sean Murphy there as a former chair of the Spud Minor Hockey Tournament. Another one of those things where I came in and tried to fill those big shoes after he did it. But that's one weekend of the year when the Bell Alliance Centre is really alive, with teams coming from all over the Maritime provinces. But it is alive in so many other ways, and so many other at so many other times. It's critically important that we continue to modernize it and to keep it up to date. That's what today is all about. I also want to give a big shout out, and I'm sorry if I'm going to be stealing your thunder on this, Sean, but to Sue Fraser and the dedicated team of professionals at the Bell Alliance Centre, that keep it humming and that keep it so important in our community. They do a fantastic job, and my hat goes off to them. With that, thank you so much for being here, and I'll hand it back to you, Minister Aylward.
Thanks very much, MP Casey. Like Sean too, I'm very excited to be here and be part of this announcement today. Hosting the 2023 Canada Games is exciting. I know from my time as Minister of Health and Wellness that a lot of effort and hard work has gone into planning for these games. Young athletes right across our province are training and hoping to represent PEI on the national stage. There are so many elements to hosting such a prestigious event, but none of it would be possible without the proper infrastructure, and that is why we are here today. The Canada Games Host Society identified the Bell Alliance Centre as a terrific sporting venue for the Games. However, upgrades are required to bring the facility up to national hosting standards. As MP Casey has said, this is a $2 million partnership, and the province is pleased to be providing over $400,000 towards this. All of the renovations will happen within the current facility, and this will be a big project. It's going to be a busy few years at the Bell Alliance Centre, but I'm confident that it will be ready to welcome athletes from around the country in 2023. Sports programming keeps our island communities healthy environment while fostering participation and inclusion. I'm pleased that our department and government is able to collaborate on this very important project. Now, I'm going to turn things over to Chairman Murphy to say a few words on behalf of the Bell Alliance Centre. Sean?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Minister Aylward, for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Capital Area Recreation, Inc., which is known locally as the Bell Alliance Centre. Just by way of background, the Bell Alliance Centre is structured as a not-for-profit organization governed by an independent board of directors accountable to stakeholders, including the City of Charlottetown, the town of Stratford, and the University of Prince Edward Island. We are what I would refer to as a best practice for strategic partnerships, which allows us to deliver essential services at a higher than average recovery level for the citizens of the greater Charlottetown area and our university campus. I should note that we host visitors from across the country and internationally as a major event hosting venue, and we do on average host in excess of 750,000 visitors each and every year. McLaughlin Arena, which is part of the Bell Alliance complex, has 2 sheets of ice, and we're very pleased that we will be hosting the men's and women's hockey for the 2023 Canada Winter Games. This, as the previous speakers has indicated, that this is a tremendous opportunity for us to showcase our facility to athletes, the coaching staff, their families, their friends from across the country. And in doing so, we want to ensure, as other speakers have indicated, we want to ensure that these athletes and these visitors enjoy the best possible games experience here in our complex. To ensure to make the most of this showcasing opportunity, there is some work to be done. We must be games ready. Our facility is now over 16 years of age. It's It's been heavily used over the years, and we're very pleased that there's 12 different projects included with this funding announcement here today that will allow us to carry out this much needed work. Some of the most notable initiatives will include a new acoustic baffling system in McLaughlin Arena A, which will greatly enhance sound announcing, the addition of lighting technology, a new matrix display, and there will also be significant upgrades to the dressing rooms and to the overall appearance of our spectator seating. Funding agreements such as this are strategic investments in critical infrastructure, which in many cases just would not happen. Investing in sport and recreation infrastructures allows communities such as Charlottetown and other communities in Prince Edward Island to deliver essential services to our citizens, and in particular, our children and youth, as an important preventive health measure, and that would include physical health and mental health. This, as the other speakers are aware, is the third time the Canada Games has been hosted here on Prince Edward Island. And each and every time we've demonstrated that we can deliver a superior games experience despite our small size. The infrastructure legacies that remain from those hosting opportunities continue to bring value to our communities and our residents and our visitors in many tangible ways, including the economic spin-offs that come from event hosting. So the Bell Alliance Center very much welcomes this announcement of federal and provincial governments working collaboratively and closely together towards a common good of our communities. And our organization is pleased to be able to bring almost $250,000 to the table as our contribution to this very, very important work. So in closing, I want to thank the ministers responsible for infrastructure, Minister McKenna in Ottawa, Minister Aylward here in Charlottetown, Stratford actually is his riding. And I also want to thank MP Casey for his representation and enthusiasm for this project. And I want to wish all the organizers under the leadership of Brian McFeely and others all the best as we start the countdown to the 2023 Canada Games.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Murphy. And I, as you just alluded to as well, I know that the Bell Alliance Centre is a vital piece of recreational infrastructure here on PEI for all islanders. And Mr. Murphy, I just want to say, similar to what MP Casey alluded to, that you and your team do an incredible job at that facility, making available and operating in such a high standard that we have. Our final speaker today is Mr. Brian McFeely. Brian has had an extensive career in sports and recreation. He helped lead the bid committee to bring the 2023 games to PEI, and now he is the co-chair of the board of directors for the 2023 Canada Games. I've known Brian for quite some time. I've worked on several of the past games here in PEI, and Brian, it's incredible the dedication and commitment that you and others have to step forward on a volunteer level to make these projects happen. So I thank you for that. But now I'd like to turn the microphone over to you for a few remarks.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words, Minister. And first of all, I want to certainly on behalf of co-chair Wayne Carew and I and the whole team at the 2023 thank MP Sean Casey. Thank you, Minister Aylward. Thank you, Chairman Sean Murphy. Certainly want to acknowledge the tremendous cooperation and support we've had from day one from the Government of Canada and the province of Prince Edward Island. Very, very supportive, the Government of Canada through Sport Canada and certainly the province of Prince Edward Island through Minister Aylward's department. Also want to certainly acknowledge to all you folks and thank somebody who's been involved in sport and recreation in this province for well over 40 years. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to sport and sport development. You alluded to your involvement in this Spud tournament and the minister's involvement in previous Canada Games, and we really appreciate that commitment and effort and this ongoing support. Today's announcement is a big step forward in ensuring Islanders can deliver a top-of-podium event while creating a sporting legacy for the entire province. The venue upgrades to the Bell Alliance Center will help us create life-shaping experience for athletes and all participants. And our role as a host society is really to provide the environment so that athletes can perform at their optimal. And these upgrades today will lend itself very well to ensuring that the Bell Alliance Center can do so. And it's particularly exciting that the Bell Alliance Center is geographically located where the Athletes Village will be. So it'll be a hub, and there'll be thousands of athletes around there for the 2 weeks of the games. Particularly interested in attending the events when they're not competing at the Bell Alliance Center. This strategic infrastructure investment is vital to ensuring that Prince Edward Island is ready to offer a world-class experience to Canadian athletes. In just under 2 years, we will welcome the nation for the 2023 Canada Winter Games. The Games will put PEI on the national stage, proudly showcasing our unique island spirit and hospitality with the entire country. And we will bring together 3,600 athletes, managers, and coaches, 5,000 volunteers across 20 different sports in over 150 individual events. For the largest multi-sport and cultural event in the country, and one of the largest in the world. From our stunning winter vistas to our welcoming and supportive communities, we know that Islanders will rise to the challenge to create a memorable Canada Games experience like none other. Today's announcement is an important building block to making this a reality and underscores our commitment to delivering an island-wide games that will have a positive impact on all island residents for many years to come. Together we will spark greatness and send waves out from every shore. In 2023, we will welcome the best athletes in Canada to the birthplace of Canada. We will celebrate the power of sport and share the warmth, community, and spirit of the PEI with every corner of the country. From athletes and coaches to volunteers and fans, the 2023 Games will make every Canadian an Islander. And thank you, Mr. Chair, and we certainly look forward to this investment and other investments that have been announced. So thank you to all.
Thanks, Brian, and thank you very much for being able to join us today. So our province has certainly developed a reputation for being an ideal location to host world-class sporting events, and this announcement today will certainly continue to build on that legacy well into the future. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and before I just close my remarks, I also want to reiterate to MP Casey, if you could pass along to Minister McKenna our gratitude for the great working relationship we have with your government and being able to make announcements such as this today. With that, I'll now turn it over to the media for any questions that they may have.
Tony Davis, CBC.
Hey, just wanted to confirm some of the funding today. I know it was, a couple of different groups announced. The total funding amount today, that was $1,035,000. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct,
Okay.
Tony. Just shy of that amount, actually.
Okay, perfect. Another question is, these upgrades, we're doing ice surfaces, spectator, areas, stuff like that. These upgrades, I guess, what are they doing for the facility? Like, is there sports that could be now hosted at that facility that couldn't, that in the current state it's in, I guess?
Perhaps we'll give that to Mr. Murphy as he's representing the facility.
No, I think the sports that we're hosting is the women's hockey and the men's hockey, and a lot of the, as I indicated before, there's 12 different projects included in this announcement here today, and most of them enhance the experience for the players, such as the dressing rooms. But also the experience for the fans, the seating area, the lighting, the acoustics, visual display. So it's all part of the sports that are held here.
Okay. I guess through these renovations, replacing one ice surface, replacing the two ice surfaces, will services be maintained while that's being done? Say, if you're replacing one ice surface, will that other ice surface be usable?
No, we're just a correction. There's no plans to replace any ice surfaces. These are mostly enhancements to spectator seating, dressing rooms, lighting. So there will be no interruption of service at any time leading up to the Canada Games.
Okay, and last thing, I guess, when is this work expected to begin? When are you hoping to end it?
It's beginning as we speak, and it'll be ongoing until I think the deadline is to have everything done 6 months prior to the games.
Okay, I think that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. Okay, it sounds like that's all the questions that have come in today. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us, and stay tuned for further future announcements. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Minister.
Yeah, thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister. Thanks, folks.